Everyone. In this lecture, we are going to be create tables using HTML. When it comes to building web pages, it's very important to have a solid understanding of table structure. Tables allow us to organize data and content in an organized way. Table data is structured in the form of rows and columns. The instruction of row with the column forms a table so the individual cells contain the actual data. Data can be in the form of text images or even video content. This is an example illustrate the structure of basic table used to record the findings of a survey that asks responding to list their favorite sports. Here we have a table with 2 columns and 9 rows, which gives us 18 individual cells. Let's start off by creating this table in a standard HTML5 document. For that, you will need to open your text editor, and we will also need to set up basic structure of HTML page as we learned earlier lesson. Once you have a basic HTML page structure created, go ahead and save your file on your computer. We can save this file as table tutorial.html extension. By now, this should all look familiar, and as you probably guessed, the code for your table will be inserted between the body open and the body close. We will begin by adding our open and close table tag. The table tag also has several attributes. First, we can specify width of the table. For now, we put the width is 100%. We'll come back to the width attribute once we have our table created, because there are different ways the width can be started. Next, we can set the border for our table. Let's set the border 1 pixel. And you can increase this value for a thicker border, and you can put 0 for no border. We can also put the border color attribute. And we can set the color is blue. Next, we can specify cell spacing and cell padding attribute. This illustration provides a visual illustration of what each of these mean. The cell padding defines the amount of space around the contents. The cell spacing, on the other hand, will determine the amount of space between each cell in your table. So, we here write cell spacing. And the unit of measurement for cell spacing and cell padding is pixel. Once you have added these attributes, we can start adding rows and columns. Each row is defined by an open and close tr tag. And inside each row, I can create any number of columns. So our table had 2 columns, and a column is represented by open and close td tag. You can insert your content inside the open and close td tag. So first part of our table is headings. So that's what the first row looks like. I will insert the second row, and again each row has two columns. To enter some data inside these columns, remember the first column was the sport and we will put the sport label in each of the first column. And then the responses in each of the second column. I am just copying and pasting them, just changing the sport label and also the data. And there it is. That's all the rows and columns for this particular table. Let's save this file and check output on browser. See that the final result. So that's the final result. And that's what the table looks like. One thing you may have noticed is table is full width of the browser's content, and this is because we specify our table width is 100%. You will notice that if we change the size of browser window, that the table expands and contracts. And always maintains the 100% of browser window. Now, let's see what would happen if I change the width is 50%. And then just refresh. Now we can see that table always maintains the 50% of the browser window. Is this percentage based width, the table will always expand and contract to maintain that percentage, the specified percentage of browser content area. But what if we want the table to be a fixed width, so it doesn't expand or contract with the browser window? For that we would need to change the width from percentage to a fixed value. So let's go ahead and change from 50% to 500. Now if you don't specify a percentage, that converts the table width into a pixel based table width. So 500 pixels will be a new width for this table. We are going to save this file and I am just going to refresh the browser. And now we'll see that no matter big or small the browser window, table always stays the 500 pixel. Thanks for watching. I will see you in next video.